Ashore, the RAAF ground staff start right in building the new strip for your aircraft. A strip from which you'll be able to strike still nearer to Tokyo. Mine disposal parties lead the bulldozers to the site of the strip. That fuse is attached to a 500-pound bomb. The Japs left it here as a booby trap. An Australian squadron, the first aircraft landing on an Australian-built strip. And it's raining, as usual.
Well, good day everyone, it's Warren here from NQ Explorers. Welcome to our latest video. Solo today. Colin's not detecting today, but she'll be in this site with me in due course. She hasn't made it here yet, and this is my third trip in. World War II Air Force RAF staging airstrip. We had fighter squadrons here. We had medium bomber Beauforts here. US WAF was here briefly, and the Dutch East Indies Air Force, what was left of it. So I've got some great relics out here, some unusual relics. I've got a British Royal Artillery coat button on my first trip, which is unusual. Some lovely RAF cap badge last trip. The usual coins and those kind of things, buckles and tons of ammunitions. And one thing that plagues this site, I don't know why, brass window latches. They are everywhere. So when they took the asbestos buildings down, and there's bits of asbestos laying around, Kookaburra's having a bit of a laugh at me there. Doesn't think I'm going to find anything. We'll see. Yeah, they took the old asbestos buildings down, left behind tons of window latches. Don't know why. Give a great signal on a machine because they're brass. Most of them are just the latching parts. Sometimes I find the adjusting rods, but I won't show you all of those. I'll tell you one or two. And of course, tons of ammunition. I won't show you that. The live stuff I rebury. The brass hulls I usually take home. So let's get into it, and I'll be back shortly with our first relic. There's my day's first target. It's you're going to see a lot of long grass today too, incidentally. Little shell casing. Could be I think it's a 38 or something like that. I'll measure the calibre. Any ammunition expert can tell me right off the bat what that is, but I'm not an ammunition expert. It'll have a head stamp, it'll be a World War II head stamp, and we'll get some details. Well, this is an interesting old feature hidden away in the bush. A sullage pit. I'd say it's associated with an ablution block. We've got a concrete slab here with some stirrups. That may have been some kind of workshop, I'm not sure. Usually the sullage pits surround the ablution blocks and you see the terracotta pipes. Got a lovely clean compact 82 here. So we'll go live on this. Looks like it's up in the front face of that little scrape I've made. Okay. This is the cleanest signal I've had for a little while. I've dug a couple of those ubiquitous window latches, which are everywhere. And they're brass and they're in the 80s. Exactly like that. That is what it is. Another window latch. I've dug probably half a dozen of those. They're everywhere on the site. Funny they took the old buildings away and the window latches remained. Inexplicable. So I just took this beautiful Australian Military Forces button. This is an Australian Army button, not a RAF button. Of course, the Army was always where the RAF was. There was no Army units here as such, but there definitely would have been transiting Army personnel and guards and that kind of thing. So that's a small breast pocket button. I've got many of those in my collection. But look at the shank, it's perfect. It's still actually got a piece of the original cotton thread that sewed it onto the uniform before it came adrift many years ago. Nice find. I'm happy with that one. I'm skirting around this section of Lantana here. I was about 100 metres to the north where I showed you that ablution sullage pit. Didn't find much there. I think it may have been a workshop area. This area I've moved into now further south I think was more an accommodation area, so immediately I find a personal item like that button. So Lantana in there's pretty nasty. I'll skirt around that and see if I can poke the coil in there somewhere, because there's sure to be more chance of these good personal finds such as coins, badges and buckles and buttons in the area where the accommodation was located, not so much the workshop areas. Righto, let's get into it. Got a very clean signal here. It's rock solid 80. Could be another window latch, but they tend to give a little irregularity in the target ID when you swing the coil around 90 degrees. This one not so. Wow, the stuff's deep here, but as you can see it's quite moist. We've had quite a bit of welcome spring rain, so getting good depth on the machine. Something right in the hole there. It's in my hand. Oh, there we go. Got our first coin of the day. Based on the premise that I am in a accommodation area. Beautiful penny. That, look at the depth of that thing. That's getting down there. I've got the grass to contend with. Shows you how powerful Max is with that big coil. There's a lot of grunt going to that coil. Okay, so I'm about 7 inches into the soil. Plus another 4 or 5 for the grass. And as you heard, it was screaming at that penny. As I found with all these Garrett AT machines, especially with pennies, and they're always the first thing on the site to go because they're the easiest to detect, but you don't even have to swing the coil over it. You just have to be proximate and you'll get the signal from a penny because it's such a large piece of high quality copper, brass, alloy. Righto, let's get an ID and a date on it. Okay, well there it is. It's a 1933 Commonwealth penny, King George V. A few little drops of rain coming now, but it doesn't matter, all our gear's waterproof, machine and the camera. We'll crack on. But I haven't cleaned up yet. I'm in this little accommodation area that I believe to be. That was your Australian Army button. That was a penny. The Max is suspended in this thick long grass, and I turn to the left and here's a sunbaker. It doesn't get any better than this. Well, it's not a sunbaker today, it's a cloud baker. This old penny just lying on top of the ground. Love this kind of thing. There's been a few big storms through and they've, look at that impression. It's another Commonwealth. This is a metre from the one I dug. Now the other one 8 inches down, this on the surface. Well, there's some sort of animal burrow here, so maybe he brought the penny out, spat it out. As long as it's not a Joe Blake. Yeah, we'll get a date off this one, that's awesome. Didn't have to detect that one. There's that sunbaker up on the control box. It's a 1925 Commonwealth penny. These are all nice interwar coins. Beautiful design, those old Commonwealth coins. Okay, we're operating under adverse conditions due to the grass, but hopefully you can see this. I haven't disturbed the ground, as you can see. I'll just put the camera back. Right there. Got a really solid, jumping to 86, 84. So we won't jinx ourselves by saying this is a window latch, but it could be. But that's a very high target ID. It's the highest I've registered all day. So we'll have a look at this one. Nice compact, consistent target. Okay, it's in the rear there of that dig. I'm about 4 inches into the soil at the moment. Just loosen around it and see what comes out. Oh, it's a window latch, would you believe that? It must have been sitting just like that. Flat brass, straight upwards. As you can see, it's got steel on it too, so you do get a little bit of tone roll normally. You can get it. Just a quick look at what I've got set up here today. AT Max looking rather weather beat. Should wash the old girl. The standard 11.5 inch core because I need that kind of depth to get through the grass. I can't get to the soil in many areas of the site. 30 points of iron. I've notched out everything below 45. I've got sensitivity flat out. Very neutral soil. Ground balance is quite low. Very loamy. A lot of moisture content today. I'll get good depth. So it's all good. Let's get into it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little sortie into this remote spot, the old Air Force base. Wasn't really an epic of metal detection. A couple of coins, the nice little army button. Absolute tons of window latches. They are everywhere, and they're beautiful 83s, 84s. You've got to dig them. There's sure a few live there, unfortunately for you. But I'll be back in here again. I don't think this grass situation is going to change anytime soon. Doesn't look like it's been burnt for many, many years. And with the recent rain, it's only got more aggressive, but that's fine. The site gives up its secrets slowly, which is what I enjoy. I know I can always come back, and there'll be something left here for next time for Colleen and I. So bit of an epilogue here on the way out. it occurred to me I might try an even larger coil on that site to get into those grass areas where I'm just not getting any penetration because the grass is a foot deep in places. So I've got a couple of larger NEL coils I'm trialing. So next time I'll bring those big NELs and see if we can pick some targets out of those areas that I'm just not getting into at the moment. So that's an alternative way I might be able to get something out of that site. Okay, well it's a week later. You might have noticed the weather's changed a bit. Last week when I was out here it was fairly cool and a little bit of drizzle. Today it's predicted to be 40 degrees, that's about 104 in the old money, and very hot. So that's detecting in Queensland. But I've had a change of tactic today. We've tried a few different coils on this site because of the length of the grass. It just keeps getting longer. I've used a 5x8, I've used the 10.5 on the max. Today I've got the max with me, but I'm not going to use it. I've got my trusty AT Pro, and on that I've got a NEL attack coil, which is a 15-inch double D. So my plan is to stay high above the long grass, because it's starting to lay over, it's that long, and ping the targets with the bigger coil. So we'll have a look at that in a minute, and I'll show you this NEL attack coil. I've got a few NEL coils there at home. I haven't used them much. It's a bit of an evaluation run really. I know a lot of you guys use and girls use NEL coils, but today we're going in for the attack. Right, this is the coil I'm using today. It's the AT Pro with a NEL 15-inch attack coil. It's a double D winding, 15 inches, almost circular. I'd call it a butterfly style coil. You'll see that in a minute in action. I am going to sacrifice my sensitivity on tiny targets, as you will with a large coil. 15 inches is a big coil on a Relic machine. But I'm going to get a lot of good depth through that grass, which is now laying over and very thick. And I don't think I'll miss the targets that I'm really after, which is the military stuff. So we'll have a crack with this machine, with this coil, and see what comes to light today. Right, I've arrived on site. The NEL's in action. Here's my first target. It's a 303 hole. No trouble picking out of the long grass. Nice strong signal on the AT Pro proportional audio. Righto. Solid 7 out and got a coin straight away with the big NEL. Penny. That was just, as you heard, well, I've exposed it obviously, but it was probably only 4 inches down and not a lot of grass in this area, but the proportional audio was really loud on that, so as you'd expect. Let's have a look at this coin and clean it up and get a date. Bit of a bush clean coming up. Back shortly. Well, there she is, the first coin with the attack. I've been here about 10 minutes, dug a bit of toothpaste tube foil. Then I got this hammering signal. I think it's a 42. I think it's a 42 kangaroo. Well, I know it's a kangaroo. I think it's 42. I see it's King George VI there, looking left. 41 maybe. 41, 42. Anyway, I'll subtitle that just to make sure. Well, that's awesome. I forgot how good the AT Pro is. I haven't used it for a while. It's just a magnificent coin and relic machine. Here's my next target. It's just a 303 hole, jumping into the low 70s. Wouldn't normally show you all the ammo, but I detected that through very long grass with that big coil, so it is working, this strategy. Previously with the smaller coils I've been trying to work around the clumps at ground level and manoeuvring in between the grass clumps. Very slow, don't cover much ground, but that's been productive, but so is this by the look of it. We'll try everything. Haven't tried a sniper in here yet. That'll be the next piece of equipment in the arsenal to be used out here, I think. Okay, well that's good. Not sure what this is, some kind of World War II two-hole doohickey. Kind of thing you find all over the World War II army camps and RAF bases. Function unknown, but very well engineered metal. I wonder what that's from. I don't see any markings. If I do, when I clean it, I'll put some details on the video. Okay, this next start I'm going to show you live to get you some feel what it's like detecting this site with this big core. I haven't touched the ground. That's a little kangaroo scratch. He's been digging around in the moisture for some roots for dinner. So here, 79. Well, it jumps around a bit, but 83. We'll iron check it. Definitely not iron. You're getting about a medium tone on that proportional audio. Volume wise, I mean, it's a high tone, but the volume's medium. So that means that the target is a long way from the coil. That's a pretty solid target ID there. Bit of a westerly coming in there. Hope the audio's okay. Right, let's have a dig at this and we'll go live. You can hear a little bit of tone roll on the edges there, but that's not going to surprise you with a coil of that size. All your parameters change. I'll show you the ground balance in a minute. I'm getting a very faint overload on the ground balance simply because of the size of the coil and the mineralisation here. Wouldn't happen with a max. But pros have no trouble here. I've detected some pretty hot ground with pro and found gold with it. So now, foamed up to an 82, 83. I just dug a casement stay, which was in the high 70s. Could be that, but it seems pretty consistent. And even with that big coil, I can feel it's fairly compact. Won't talk it up too much. Setting myself up for failure. Okay, that should have the target out of the hole, I think. Okay, here it is. And it's a little piece of square cut copper. Now, that could have just as well been a coin, of course, with that target ID. That's machined copper with a hole punched in it. Actually, some sort of tag, maybe a machinery tag, I'm not sure if it's got any writing on it. That's an example of what this ground is like with this coil. Well, my NEL 15-inch attack coil gamble has paid off. Just got a fantastic find here. It was an 82 in extremely long grass. I mean, the grass is over a foot deep in places. 15-inch coil, double D. Surprisingly easy to pinpoint with. It's just intuitive. You can just feel where the hot spot on the coil is. Anyway, let's have a look at this find. I'm pretty happy with this. I've dug lots of these over the years, but it never gets old. Let's have a look. Okay, yes, it's a RAF base, but I've got a lovely Army relic. It's a collar rising sun badge. Looks to be in magnificent condition. Let's see what we've got on the back. Can't feel all lugs, but I won't clean it here. But look at the condition of that rising sun. That is just beautiful. Let's put him there. Righto, there it is up close. It's a collar rising sun off a World War II Australian Army uniform. So the Army obviously were here too. The Air Force was an Air Force base, but Army personnel heavily involved everywhere the Air Force was for all sorts of reasons. So that's just a great find. I've found cap badges here now and now a rising sun. Really exciting find. That was a solid 86 with the big NEL from way up in the sky somewhere. I don't know where it was, but it was a long way from the target. Okay, we'll give it a clean and I'll get some still pics for you. There's kind of brown snake central in here. I haven't seen any, but they'll be in here. I've got my snake chaps on today, so let's hope they don't get any use. Well, how's this for a tube of something? Definitely not toothpaste or tinea cream. Maybe mechanical aircraft related, some sort of grease tube or something, I'm not sure. But she's a monster. Well, this is an unusual find we don't get many of in these Army or Air Force camps. A knife. Get lots of forks and spoons of all different sizes and shapes, but I've got a stainless knife. Some sort of bread knife or something, I guess. Might be near the cook's back door. That's a beauty, actually. Must have had a wooden handle. That's long gone, burnt off or rotted off 70 years ago. I wonder if that may have a hallmark on the blade. Right, I might wrap it up there. It's just after midday, cloudless blue sky and 40 degrees, 104. That's all good. That's Queensland. You got to be able to take it to middle of second Queensland. NEL coil. Definitely got the results I had hoped for. Rising sun, absolutely awesome in very deep grass. The plus side, lots of depth. The downside, not so much the sensitivity on small items as you'd expect on a large coil, because the Pro or any machine you put a large coil on has the same amount of power going to the coil, so you're actually diluting it over a larger area. That's how you get your depth. I haven't dug a threepence out of here, and to me that's always an indicator. If you're not down to the threepences, you haven't detected the site out. They're always the last ones to come out. Pennies go first, they're easy to find. Big targets, make a lot of noise. Threepences, little silver coins, very small target, in deep grass like this, difficult. So I haven't found a threepence in here yet. I've got silver, I've got a sixpence, but nothing smaller. Ground balancing. I had issues with a bit of chatter because of the grass level. My detecting level was all over the place. I ground balance at a certain level, but the coil height from the ground varies constantly because of the grass levels. And the proportional audio was very soft on targets, so you had to be on your game. Sometimes it didn't register as a target ID, but as you got closer it always did. Repeatable signals were never an issue, but like I said, I didn't really dig any tiny targets, so I didn't expect to. I might go back to the 5x8 and just keep going over this site. What I love about this site, it's one of the best sites I've ever detected. It just reveals its secrets very slowly. There are a couple of landmarks, but it's a fairly trackless waste of grass, and it's hard to tell where you've been, and all of a sudden you'll come to a patch of goodies, and there's a few good targets waiting for you that you thought you'd missed before. So that's all good. We'll crack on. We'll come back out here maybe when it's a cooler day. I still haven't got Colleen out here. I'll get her out here eventually, and we'll try different coils and different machines, always getting results. That was a great 2 days I've had in here. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.